Hello there, beautiful woman. What if I told you that the key to living a radiant and joyful, happy life has nothing to do with anything external, but has everything to do with what's inside of you? If you've been going along in life and it seems dull and cumbersome and very stressed out, and you seem to have lost that spark, then I want you to stay tuned because this episode is going to be for you, where I'm going to be talking all about embracing your sensual power so that you can unlock joy and confidence for a radiant life. If this is your first time hearing me, my name is Oshun. I'm a divine feminine spiritual guide, certified transformational life coach, and board certified holistic health practitioner. And it is my mission and vision to help all women transform and heal their lives so that they can create the success, love, wealth, health, and abundance that they deserve. So if this is your first time seeing me, please subscribe because I have so much information and tips that I want to share with you so that you can become the best version of you, the woman you were always meant to be. And so in today's video, I want us to take a moment to kind of break some of the stigmas around sensuality, women's sensual power, because there's so much out there. And usually our view of sensuality and being sensual can be sometimes superficial. And so I want to go a little bit deeper today and to understand exactly what is our sensual power and how can we use it to unlock radiance in our life. So one of the things I want to emphasize is that we, as humans, as divine feminine beings, experience life through our senses, right? Through our sight, through our taste, through our touch, through our smells, through our feelings. This is how we experience our life. And we make choices based on our senses, based on what we want to experience in the world. Now, we might be aware of this, or we might not be aware of it. But I want you to be aware of it that your senses is how we experience life. And sometimes we have got caught into a pattern or a habit of choosing things that don't light our senses up, that don't spark us, that don't feel good to us. We've become used to sometimes choosing things that can feel heavy, burdensome, dull, and that bring us no joy and harmony to our smell, to our eyes, to our feelings, to what we hear. The things don't feel good, but yet and still we stay stuck in them because we have dulled our senses. We have disconnected from our body. We have disconnected from the wisdom that is within us because maybe we've been conditioned to be that way. And my experience usually has a lot to do with conditioning, right? We have been conditioned to be disconnected from joy and pleasure. And this can stem from many reasons. I know in my case, it had stemmed from religious oppression, right? So sometimes if we look at many of the figures in our religious upbringing, a lot of them are portrayed as going through suffering, as being treated bad, and there was something to gain from it. And I'm not to say that um, there isn't preciousness sometimes that come out of heart of experiences, but the problem is that a lot of times our religions bombard us with these beliefs that we always have to suffer and we have to always have pain, and somehow we're more divine for that. And that simply isn't true, because just as much as we learn through pain and suffering, we can also learn just as much through joy, harmony, and pleasure. And so another reason why we may be disconnected from our senses and our sensuality and what brings us joy and spark and what lights us up may also have to do with our childhood, our upbringing. Maybe we grew up in a home with parents who had very limited beliefs around joy and happiness, and our homes felt heavy and abusive, and they weren't lighting us up. And so we were taught to deal with pain and suffering, and we have a high tolerance for it. And so unknowingly, we again go and choose these experiences in our lives. We continue to repeat this pattern. Now, these are just two of many reasons why sometimes as women, we may shut down our ability to receive joy and pleasure and to choose things that causes joy and pleasure. You could have had a really bad negative experience that disconnected you from your body and your senses and your joy. And again, you shut that part of yourself down. And so now you have a habit of attracting and recreating experiences that feel bad, that don't light you up, that don't bring joy and radiance into your life. And so, how do we get out of this pattern? How do we change and heal and begin to tap back into our sensuality and our joy so that we can have that confidence? Well, the answer is simply we have to wake our senses back up. We have to start recognizing what brings us joy, what brings us fulfillment, what feels good on our skin, what feels good to our eyes, our sight, what feels good to our ears, what smells delicious, what feels good. We have to be in our body. We have to connect to our body. And femininity and feminine energy is all about embodiment. It's about being in the body, really loving our bodies and honoring ourselves and feeling connected to it. This is your sensual power. And when you come back to this is how you unlock your joy and confidence and how you begin to cultivate a radiant life. And the reason why you know you've disconnected from it is because you're probably unhappy and you feel stuck and you feel stressed and you feel drained. And no matter what you do, you keep finding yourself in this pattern. It is because you are disconnected from your sensuality. You're disconnected from your body. You need to learn how to make decisions with your body, with what brings you joy, with what brings you pleasure. And that can be foreign for some of us because we have been so used to feel that joy and pleasure are wrong. And sometimes some of the images put forth in the media about joy and pleasure are really superficial, and they really don't have anything to do with what real joy and pleasure and sensuality have to do with. And real joy, to cultivate real joy and sensuality, it requires you to have deep self-awareness, deep self-love, and being present in the moment to your feelings, to what you're experiencing in your body. You have to cultivate, again, deep self-awareness of what feels good to you, what brings harmony to you. You have to cultivate a self-love to know that you deserve to have a life that feels good to you and you deserve to create this through your choices. And you have to be present in the moment to your experiences so you know what experiences are aligning for you with joy and happiness and making all your senses feel tantalized and what experiences are not. And so that is how you begin to open up your sensual power, how you begin to unlock that joy. And so if I can give an example of this, probably give two examples. I remember some years ago, one of my students, so one of the things that I do teach to help women feel and get connected to their body is belly dancing. And if you're interested in that, I will be having my classes coming out again soon, because I think dancing and being the body is one of the best ways for us women to reconnect to ourselves. And so I'm also a belly dance instructor. And I teach classes to women for healing and connection to the body. And I remember I had a student at a time who was feeling really disconnected from her life path, her purpose, her career. She wasn't happy, wasn't lighting her up anymore. And so when she started to come to class, and get in tune with her body, she became aware of how heavy her career and life had been because of the fact that this wasn't really what was making her feel good and happy. And she was able to do this because she started to connect back to her body. She started to feel. And so I kind of guided her through a practice to really feel into what kind of life path would bring her joy, would light her up, would make her heart jump, what smells did she want to see in her new atmosphere, what sounds does she want to see, what does she want to experience? And she had to visualize that and cultivate that experience within herself first. And so I guided her to, write down this vision. What was it that she wanted to see? And she wrote it down. She wanted to go, I think it was into the field of makeup artistry, but at that time there weren't, at least from her perception, there weren't opportunities opening for her until she opened up her body and her senses and reconnected. So she wrote down the vision, visualized it. And I want to say, when she acknowledged that this was her truth, that she wanted to go on another path, and that this is what brought her joy and light her up. And she really trusted that this was going to happen. I want to say it took no more than 2 weeks, right, for that experience to show up for her. And she was hired into a top makeup artist company, and she has been on that trajectory ever since. She had opened her own business eventually in makeup artistry and just did wonderful things. And this is someone who had been stuck for a very long time in her life purpose and unhappiness. But the key is that she had to connect back to her sense of joy, back to her body, back to her sense of pleasure, back to what lit her up, back to what made her feel good again. This is how you create that radiant life. You got to connect back within yourself and your heart space, right? And feel. And so that was just one example of many that I have of working with clients, and even from my own personal experiences of how the power of tapping back into your body, back into what brings you joy, back into what brings you harmony, how that can radically change and transform your life. and help you heal so that you don't have to continue to stay stuck and stagnant in experiences with people, places, and things, careers, relationships, or money concerns. You don't have to stay stuck like that. It's simply a matter of you waking up that spark again within yourself, that joy. And we do that through our senses because, again, we're sensory beings, right? So I just wanted to come on here to share part one of what do we mean? What do I mean when I talk about sensual power? Why does it help us grow and become better and create radiant lives? And stay tuned for part two, because I'm going to talk about what are some daily practices that you can do as a woman to start cultivating that body connection, that sensuality, so you can wake up with this joy again. One of them, hint, hint, is belly dancing, right? And again, I will be offering those classes again. So please subscribe to my channel or follow me wherever you're seeing this video so that you can get notification of that, because dance and movement for women is healing for anybody. But because I work with women, this is the audience that I cater to. But dancing puts us right in our body, puts us right into with our senses. It opens up our heart space and gets us really flowing into what feels good again. So tomorrow on the next episode, part two of this, I'm going to talk about what are some practices you can start to do now to open up your sensuality so that you can start to unlock that joy and create the life you love. Again, follow me if you want to receive more tips on your divine feminine wellness, transforming your life so that you can create that love, success, and abundance, or subscribe to me. And be on the lookout for part two. Share this video with as many women as you can who may need this message. It definitely helps me. Please like the video as well. It definitely helps get this message out to more people, more women who need this in their lives at this time. And I appreciate all of you and thank you. Have an amazing and wonderful day. Bye.